And I think that's what Lydia is saying, is that the principles don't change wherever you are, and so neither should your standards. And I think there has to be a baseline set of rules of, like, we don't whatever, anything I say now is going to be complicated, but like that picture that we have outside church of, like, nothing shorter than the knee, and your shoulders have to be covered, and you know that little.
But then I'm going to ask, what are you supposed to wear at the beach?
C'est trop baguette.
No, because now I'm on because I think everything you said, that's what I meant to say. I didn't mean that you can change the outfit, like, depending on where you are. But if what you said to me before are principles, so then what are they? Because what are you supposed to wear at the beach? I'm like genuinely confused right now.
No, at the beach,
Yeah,
it's
no,
beach, you're there.
Then that's an environment.
But you're there in the intention of going swimming.
Yes.
If you're there in the intention of attracting other people and dressing in a certain way to do so, then you gotta check
Okay,
it out.
that was my.
But if you're at the beach, you put a swimsuit on to go to the.
So, like, until now, like, most of the discussion has been targeted about, like, me and all of that, like, oh, how do I feel when I wear clothes and all of that, and how do I respect my body. But what if we just throw in the traditional thing about, like, how do the guys look at the girls and how do the girls look at the guys? Like, that means that, like, for those that believe that, like, you can dress a little bit more revealing in certain places, how does that protect the guy, like the fact that the guy is, like, in the street? Like, if a girl says, like, I can dress a little bit more revealing because I'm walking in the old port and I'm not at church and I'm not whatever, but, like, how does that protect the guy who's staring at you, who's stumbling into sin, that you're at the old port, whether you're at the old port or church, you know? Like, it doesn't change anything for him. He's still being tempted sexually. He's still being, like, falling into sin because of the way that you dress, right? So what I want to say is that, like, we should keep that in mind. But in the beach, I agree, like, that's a good conversation to have, because we do need to think about, like, I know that there are companies that make swimsuits that are more modest. They're usually, like, by Christian people, like part of that video, for example. That lady has a company where she makes bathing suits that look really good, but they're also modest and certain, you know, they're not very revealing and they're not whatever. And so, yeah, like, for example, the bikini point of view, like, what makes the bikini different than your underwear? Like, when you look at it, like, what's the difference? Like, what's the difference between bikini and lingerie other than the material? What's the difference? Like, the parts that are naked are the same. It's just one of them is waterproof material and the other is not. One of them absorbs water and the other doesn't. But that's it. In terms of, like, temptation, it's the same, you know? So just keep that in mind when you're,
Well, I have a point about the temptation for the guys, because I feel that this is the same that Muslims say, and that's why they make women all covered, so that you don't make a guy fall into sin. But that's not my problem, and I'm not for wearing revealing clothes, and I'm not for being free and doing whatever you want. No, that's not what I'm saying, but he's responsible for what he looks at. That's not my problem. And the other thing that, other than clothes, guys can...
Do you guys agree that it's not her problem, like, whatever? Like, I don't know.
Don't be a
That's
stumbling block.
it's shared,
Exactly,
yeah. It's like a shared
it's not on the girl alone.
Yeah.
And the other thing, the guys can make girls fall into sin by other things. Yeah, they don't have the seduction tool that the women have, but they have other things that they can make girls fall into sin, but nobody ever talks about it.
Yeah.
For example, when he makes a girl love him and tricks her into doing things that she doesn't want to do, nobody ever talks about that, but everyone is only talking about she's wearing revealing clothes. So it's a double-ended sword.
I think the example that Luna used was just to make a point of, like, it's not only about how I perceive myself, but like how I can.
Because it's a shared responsibility, like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said.
understandable.
You are responsible.
But he was just using an example just to illustrate the point.
I think often it's it used to be very much the burden on the women to have responsibility for modesty so that men wouldn't stumble. And society has in reaction gone totally the other way and said, I can wear whatever I want, women have no responsibility, it's all men's job to be appropriate and, you know, think well and really the Christian view and the biblical view is that it's very much a shared responsibility. Which doesn't mean that women are less responsible or that men are less responsible. So that's another way in which things have gotten skewed. Yeah.
But I mean, what kind of life are we supposed to live if we have to be careful that we don't sin and that others don't sin? What do I have to care? Like, why is it my responsibility as a female that other men don't sin? Why am I responsible for it?
So it's not your responsibility that a man doesn't sin, but it is your responsibility not to knowingly tempt a man into sin, or anybody, not just a man, but like any other person. We're not supposed to be a stumbling block for other people. And so if you say to yourself, well, I don't care, I'll wear a bikini to the beach, or I'll wear whatever outside, you have to also be aware and sensitive to the impact that that has on other people, right?
It's also very biblical, you know? Like it says, like if eating meat causes my brother to stumble, then I'll never eat meat. If wearing this whatever causes my brother to stumble, then I'll never wear this thing. I could throw it away, you know? Like it's very in line with Christian thinking. Actually, it's not very Muslim at all to care for your brother or for your sister more than yourself. Like I care for plans more than for myself. So I want that person, Aisha, to like when we walk into heaven together. And if it's me gonna be wearing this is gonna disturb them, like I burn it, you know, like gently.
I think the idea is not if a guy falls into sin, we then go and blame the girl who quote unquote caused it. No, that's not the point. The point is what Lydia is saying, is that we need to care for the people around us and be aware of what is a stumbling block for other people. It's not, oh, I'm going to do this so that so-and-so doesn't blame me if they have a problem. You know what I mean? It's not your direct responsibility to prevent someone else from sinning. But we are one body, and if we are one body, then everything I do affects the rest of the body. And so in that way we are connected, and we have to be aware that what we're doing doesn't affect only me, but might have an influence on someone else.
I agree 100% that we should think of, oh, is that person gonna fall into sin? But no, we keep talking about girls, but beware what you do this. But at the same time, what about the guys? I'm not gonna tell a guy not to go to the gym and build muscles and abs because I'm gonna be tempted. You know, it's the same thing. It's a guy. It's mostly like the volume of his body. I don't want to say it, but like I'm not gonna tell a guy not to, go to the gym and right? Because I'm gonna be tempted. It's the same thing.
Okay.
I disagree because I think, I don't think, okay, I'm just going to try to say this so it makes sense, that muscles and all that is as attractive or as tempting as revealing parts of the body. I would compare like having nice muscles and stuff, like as a person that works with muscles, I like looking at nice muscles and I don't find that seductive. It's like comparing a girl who has nice hair or nice eyes. Like God made creation beautiful, and I think it's fine to compliment God's creation depending on the way you think about it. If it's not sexual and I see that God created a nice person, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So it's totally different than a woman dressing seductively or showing parts of her.
But I don't think that was the underlying issue. I think the underlying issue is
You keep focusing on the.
why is it all about girls?
I think in my opinion, it's easier for girls to seduce guys by looks rather than the other way around, and I think we were kind of made that way. So yes, we talk a lot about girls and the way they dress and the way they look and that, because it's their way of seducing guys, but we,
That's more of the word.
like,
Yeah, and that's scientific then, what he's saying,
That's
like
even
we all
worse
agree.
because it's
That's not.
meaner. At least the appearance, you see it. But you're doing this
you know,
really
what you hear is.
Okay, let's just like stop the gender fight. Like both sexes can be deceptive and mean and all of that stuff. I think now might be a good time to watch a video of, it was just a video clip that explores some of these ideas that we brought up in terms of both the gender issues and the revealing clothing stuff and all of this. So.
So yeah, I guess because of the time, we'll just end with the video, I guess, because of the time, right? Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, I'll read it first.
I'm sure you've all heard that song before, and I apologize if it gets stuck in anyone's head for the rest of the day. But I'm wondering if you've ever really listened to the lyrics, because until a couple of weeks ago, I had never really listened to them before, so I'd like to review some of them with you. The first verse goes, "She was afraid to come out of the locker. She was as nervous as she could be. She was afraid to come out of the locker. She was afraid that somebody would see." The song continues with her being afraid to come out in the open, so she hides in her blanket. And then she's afraid to come out of the water, so she starts to turn blue. Why was this woman so afraid? The song was released in 1960, 14 years after the bikini was invented in France. French engineer Louis Rayard invented the bikini. He worked in his mother's lingerie shop, and he named it after the site of the atomic bomb testing that year, Bikini Atoll. He thought that the public's reaction would be like an atomic bomb explosion, and he was right. His design was based on exposing the belly button for the first time, and he said it wasn't a true bikini unless it could be pulled through a wedding ring. It was so scandalous that no French model would wear it, so he had to hire a stripper to debut his bikini. Before Rayard invented the bikini, women wore one-piece swimsuits, like this. Or if they were two-piece swimsuits, they were still very modest, exposed very little midriff, and always covered the belly button. Before that, at the turn of the century, women wore these voluminous bathing costumes, and they used things called bath machines, which were like a 6x6x6 wooden or canvas hut on wheels. The woman would get inside of the bathing machine in her clothes, and then she would change into her bathing costume, and horses or sometimes people would drag the bathing machine down to the shoreline, and then the woman would get straight into the water so that no one would see her in her bathing costume. We have certainly come a long way since then, from practically wearing a house, 36 square feet, to wearing about 36 square inches of fabric. You go to the beach today, and it seems like everyone is wearing a bikini, but it was not an instant hit in the United States. It was seen as a suspect garment favored by licentious Mediterranean types. In 1957, Modern Girl magazine said it was hardly necessary to waste words on the so-called bikini because no girl with tact or decency would ever wear such a thing. And one writer described the bikini as a two-piece bathing suit that revealed everything about a girl except for her mother's maiden name. Guards at the beach would measure bathing suits, and women wearing bikinis were sure to get kicked off of the beach. So it's no wonder that the girl in the song was afraid to come out of the water. With the 1960s, however, came the sexual revolution and the women's movement and the rising popularity of the bikini. Soon, no one was afraid to wear one, and in 1965, a woman told Time magazine that it was almost square not to. Last year alone, annual spending on the bikini totaled $8 billion. The popularity of the bikini has been attributed to the power of women, not the power of fashion. And a New York Times reporter called the bikini the millennial equivalent of the power suit. So I'd like to take a couple minutes to examine this so-called power that wearing the bikini brings. A few years ago, male college students at Princeton University participated in studies of how the male brain reacts to seeing people in different amounts of clothing. Brain scans revealed that when men are shown pictures of scantily clad women, the region of the brain associated with tools, such as screwdrivers and hammers, lit up. Some men showed zero brain activity in the medial prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that lights up when one ponders another person's thoughts, feelings, and intentions. Researchers found this shocking because they almost never see this part of the brain shut down in this way. And a Princeton professor said, it's as if they're reacting to these women as if they are not fully human. It's consistent with the idea that they are responding to these photographs as if they were responding to objects, not people. In a separate Princeton study, when men viewed images of women in bikinis, they often associated with first-person action verbs, such as I push, I grab, I handle. But when they saw images of women dressed modestly, they associated them with third-person action verbs, such as she pushes, she grabs. Analysts at the National Geographic concluded that bikinis really do inspire men to see women as objects, as something to be used, rather than someone to connect with. So, it seems that wearing a bikini does give a woman power, the power to shut down a man's ability to see her as a person, but rather as an object. This is surely not the kind of power that women were searching for, the power to be treated as an equal, to be seen as in control, and to be taken seriously. It seems that the kind of power they're searching for is more attainable when they dress modestly. But now comes the problem of modesty. The very word modesty is often met with such disdain, especially among the younger high school crowd. I remember speaking to a group of teenagers in New York, and when I mentioned modesty, this girl yelled from the back, "What am I supposed to dress like then? A grandma?" And I was scared. But I have to admit, I thought the same thing when I first learned about modesty. I thought it meant I had to be frumpy and dumpy and out of fashion, and I imagined myself wearing dresses like this, sitting alone in my living room, never going on another date ever again, and never getting married. And I was particularly frustrated when shopping for a swimsuit when I decided not to wear bikinis anymore, because all I could find were things that my grandmother would actually wear. Instead of being discouraged, I took matters into my own hands and I designed my own swimsuit. And the first time I wore it, a few girls asked where I got it, the second time a few more, and so on and so forth. So I decided to put my MBA to use, which made my parents so happy, and start my own swimsuit company. My goal is to disprove the age-old notion that when it comes to swimsuits, less is more, and that you can dress modestly without sacrificing fashion. My inspiration for my swimsuit line was Audrey Hepburn. who is timeless and classy and who happened to have dressed very modestly. I don't think people think of Audrey Hepburn and think frumpy dumpy and out of fashion. These are some of my designs. And my tagline is, who says it has to be itsy bitsy? Well, to answer the question, if you look at today's society, everyone says it has to be itsy bitsy. Fashion designers, the media, and let's face it, sometimes parents. Little girls would not be running around in sexy underwear and skimpy bikinis if it wasn't for their parents buying them for them. I believe that the woman was afraid to come out of the water because she had a natural sense of modesty about her that has been stripped away by today's culture. And we need to bring it back. I have dedicated a lot of my time. I travel all over the country speaking to girls about this issue. I've just written a book called Decent Exposure about it. And we need to teach girls that modesty isn't about covering up our bodies because they're bad. Modesty isn't about hiding ourselves. It's about revealing our dignity. We were made beautiful in His image and likeness. So the question I'd like to leave you with is, how will you use your beauty? Thank you.
Yeah, let's see how much that is.
So we're going to end there. I just want to read you a couple verses from the Bible as our closing. So this is from 1 Timothy chapter 2. And Paul says, take note, he talks to men, not just to women. He has different instructions for both of them. He says, I want men everywhere to lift up holy hands in prayer without anger or disputing. I also want women to dress modestly with decency and propriety, not with braided hair or gold or pearls or expensive clothes, but with good deeds appropriate for women who profess to worship God. So in other words, to focus on the inner. And Peter says this very nicely. Your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as braided hair or the wearing of gold jewelry and fine clothes. Instead, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. And I think that goes for both men and women. So may God help us to focus on our inner selves and on our worth as children of God and not be deceived by all the outward pressures.
Thank you. We'll just say our Father together, and then, sorry we were late. We started a bit late today. Father,